Alright, welcome to this tutorial of character creation in Animation Master. First of all, we're going to model this character. We'll be doing it little bit by little bit, but I will show you how the process goes. First of all, what we're going to want to do is start a new project. So I've gone up to Project and said New, and then I want to create a new object. So I'm going to say New Model, and it gives me this blank model here. And what I'm going to use is Rotoscopes to do this with. I've gone and I've drawn a character. I've drawn a front view and a side view that are equal to each other so that I can put them in here as rotoscopes. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in the images. So under the images folder here, I'm going to right click and say import image. And then I look under my Rotoscopes folder under Will. This is the character I'm going to use. I'm going to import these two, the side and the front. So I'm going to say open those. Now what I've got here are these two images, and in my model I can right click on it and say New Rotoscope, Character Front, and it will bring it into the front view here. Now I'm going to zoom way out and you can see this. It's kind of big. So what I'm going to do is shrink it down. So I'm going to hold my Shift key and then just shrink it down like this. Now I want to make him probably about 5 feet tall. So we'll go up to 150 centimeters. 100 centimeters is about 3 feet, and so 200 would be 6 feet. So this is about 4.5. So I'm going to go to about right here. And I can set these guys just by right clicking on them and say marker settings and then tell it where to go. So I'm going to say 175. Okay, so now it's there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this again, just make it bigger and realign it here so that he is at the right height and right there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just keep adjusting this until you get the feet on there. The head probably came down just slightly, just barely. So I'm going to go up a little bit more here, right there. And if I go up here, I can see the head's just slightly up. So I'm going to get the feet lined up with the bottom here and move it over, and go up and check the head. That's good enough. So now what I can do is I'm going to look over here, and this hand right here, I'm going to click it so that there's an X. That means that once I click off of it, I cannot click it to select it. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is right there. And I'm going to bring in the side. The thing you want to remember though is when you click on this rotoscope, we want to match the scale of this one. So it's 429.17%. And then the translate we're going to want to match too. So I'm going to go in, or right click here and say rename and call it front. Now what I want to do is I want to bring in the other one. So I'm going to say model, or right click on model, say new rotoscope, character side. Now that brought it into the front also, and I'm going to go down in my properties window and check this. Oops. Check this right here and say go to the right. So now when I hit 6 on the numpad, it's in my right view. So I'm going to scroll out here and select it. Now if I go to my front, remember it's 429.17 in the scale, so I'm going to go to this one and say 429, what was that again? 429.17. So I'm going to say 429.17. And then right here too, 429.17. So now it should be the exact same size. Now in the X direction, it was translated 36.75, and this one is 39.47. So I'm going to go 36.75, and then this one 86.32, 86.32. Okay, so now it's pretty much in the exact same place as the other one. The only thing is I want this line to be straight with here, so I'm going to select it and then just use my arrow keys and hold it down and continue moving it over until it matches up right there. So now I drew my axis a little sideways there, but as you can see, it's going right down the middle or the center of his body. Okay, so we've got that one set up. So I'm gonna check this, and then I'm gonna click the rotoscope and rename it right side. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call this the left side. The reason being is that because what I said before, I can go to the front. This is the left side of the character because if you're talking about the character, that is his left, and this is the right. So although when we hit 6, we go to the right view, what we're actually doing is going and looking at the left side of the model. So, okay, so that's that one. Now what I want to do is I want to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to bring in the other new rotoscope character side, and then I'm going to go down here and say this one goes on the left. So now if I hit 4 on the numpad, it brings it in like this. So what I want to do is I want to match this one exactly, but scale it negative in the X. So I'm going to grab this one, say 232 or 2.32 in the X. So I'm going to go 2.32 in the X. Actually, before I do that, I want to scale it. Okay, so it's 429.17. So I'm going to put in 429.17. 429.17. And that's the same size now. And if I go to my Y, it's 86.32. So 86.32. Okay, so now it should be lined up perfectly, other than it needs to be scaled negative in the X. So I'm going to go here, just say negative, and flips it around, and I think we're good to go. So now to make sure that I've done it so that I've lined them all up right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a temporary spline that goes from here to here, right click, and then just hit Shift Z, and that will center it on the page. Go to your front view, do the same thing, Shift Z, and then go to your left view or 6 and hit Shift Z. Now when I go this side, the front, and the other side, I can switch between the two sides, and you can see that they're perfectly mirrored. And then the front is too. So that's how we set up the rotoscopes. Let me check that, and I'm going to rename this to right side. Alright, so now what I've got is my rotoscope all set up. I'm going to delete that spline there so I don't see it, and I'm going to hit Shift Z. But now you can see I've got a pattern in the front that I can follow, and if I go to my side, I can follow that too. So that's how we set up rotoscopes in Animation Master. So I'm going to go to Model, Save As, and then I'm going to go under my Models folder and save it as Will_01. And I want to say yes. Okay, and that's that. We'll go on from here.